Sunday morning, while she was in the shower, her husband said goodbye to his two children, yelled something to her while she was in the shower, and then went to the tallest building in Amsterdam and jumped off the building and committed suicide. Now, that is a stressful event. And when she got the news, she experienced all the emotions that people experience from something that's shocking and traumatic like that. She was suffering, she was in pain, she was resentful, she was guilty, she was confused, she was angry. She went through the whole gamut of emotions. And all of those emotions, by the way, are derived from the hormones of stress. So she has an event in her life, it changes her biologically. She doesn't know how to control her emotional reaction, it turns into a mood, one long emotional reaction. If you keep reviewing that event in your mind, you begin to produce the same chemistry in your brain and body as if the event was occurring. So her body is being conditioned to the past because she's reliving the experience 50 to 100 times in a day, and her body is beginning to believe it's in the same past experience over and over again. It ultimately goes from a mood to a temperament, and now people are asking her in her life, why are you so upset? She tells the story, and she's basically saying, I am this way because of this event that happened to me 4 months ago. So then, if we keep that going for extended periods of time, and those emotions are driving our thoughts, and we can't think greater than how we feel, our feelings have become the means of thinking, we're thinking in the past, and now we're stuck in our biology. So one day she wakes up, and she's completely paralyzed from her waist down. And she can't get out of bed, so they rush her to the hospital, they do MRIs, they do all the tests. They can't find anything significant with her. So they just diagnose her with neuritis. And so now she's bedridden and she cannot literally get out of bed. So now she can't work. She can't take care of her children. Her mother has to move in with her, and she doesn't have any money because she's not working, and her stress levels go up. So now the condition gets worse. As her stress levels go up, it's the same chemicals of stress that are knocking the brain and body out of balance, signaling the wrong genes in the wrong way. And another few months later, she develops these huge ulcerations in all the mucous membranes of her body. In her mouth, her throat, her upper stomach, her bladder, her vagina, her anus. She's got these huge ulcers. Now she can't eat. And if she can't eat, she's knocking her body now out of chemical balance even more, and it hurts. So now she's spiraling downward. And then she finally starts noticing her symptoms getting worse. And she goes to the doctor, and they diagnose her with esophageal cancer. Now, the moment she gets the diagnosis of esophageal cancer, now she gets even more stressed, and she's in fear now, and she realizes that her children may not have a mom. And so she came to one of our workshops, and I remember specifically because she came in with crutches, in a wheelchair and a walker, and she sat on the left side of the room. And it was an introductory level course, and she understood that she could change it intellectually, but she had a very big challenge ahead of her, and she realized how much she was in her past. She had a vision of her future. Like, she wasn't visualizing anything, she just got a very clear vision. And she was so excited that she went home and she did her meditation every single day. Now, she understood that she had to upregulate new genes and downregulate genes that had to do with her disease, and that every day she had to knock on the genetic door. Now, the first thing I want to say is that I'm certain that there were days that she didn't feel like doing her meditation, and she did that anyway. She did it anyway. There were days where she had a tremendous amount of doubt, and she didn't think it was possible, but she did her meditations every single day. And as she began to do her meditations every single day, she started to notice significant changes in her health. Well, she stood on the stage in front of that audience, and she said, I just came from my doctor last week. I have no evidence of esophageal cancer. I have no ulcerations in any of the mucous membranes of my body, except a small scar in the back of my throat. I have no paralysis, no numbness, no loss of motor function, and I have a new husband. And I said, new personality, new personal reality. The disease exists in the old personality. You're literally someone else. And I said, when you look back at that event that took place in your past, how do you feel? And she said, it was my greatest teacher. And I said, do you have any emotion when you think about that event? And she said, no. And I said, the memory without the emotional charge is called wisdom. And that's the name of the game here. You're ready for a new life. So as you sit up straight and open up this channel to the brain, in one slow, steady breath, as you inhale, you are going to lift those muscles, perineum front and back, up at the same time. So as you inhale now, you're pulling that energy and contracting these muscles, and you're locking that first center down, and you're squeezing, and you're milking this energy out of it. So it goes first center, then you follow your breath into the second center, and as you follow your breath into the second center, now you lock this one down. And the way you lock it down is you pull in your belly button close to your spine. You pull it in. So then inhale, first center, then you pull in the second center. You're still following your breath slowly and steadily. And then you pull it up into your upper abdomen, and you're locking down the center here. Now you're squeezing all three of these lower centers, and when you squeeze these muscles, you begin to push that cerebral spinal fluid up. You follow your breath up into your chest, shoulders down. You follow it through your throat, straighten your spine. You follow it all the way up to the top of your head. Now, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So you want that energy to move right to the top of your head. So then as you inhale, you bring that energy all the way up to the top. You keep following your breath. You lock all the way to the top. When you get to the top, now you hold your breath. And when you hold your breath, you contract those intrinsic muscles, and you begin to lift those muscles up, and you begin to compress those muscles, and you begin to push that cerebral spinal fluid up into your brain. So then, why do I ask you to inhale and hold your breath? Now, this isn't inhaling and turning purple and pushing. If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong. It's a slow, steady breath, and you follow that breath all the way to the top, either to the top of your head, or you put your awareness on where that pineal gland is between the back of your throat and the back of your head. Now when you inhale, that inhalation is very slow and very steady. It's not a big inhalation pushing. It's a slow, steady breath, and you're contracting these muscles and coordinating it. You're following your breath all the way to the top of your head, and when you get to the top of your head, I'm going to ask you to inhale a little bit more, and as you pull up, you're going to lock these muscles down even further, and you're lifting them up. Once you lift them up and you have your attention either on the top of your head or the space that your pineal gland occupies in space, I'm going to ask you to lock those muscles down and pump, squeeze, or push. And I want you to push that fluid up into your brain by squeezing the muscles, not by holding your breath harder, but by squeezing those muscles. And I want you to begin to pump that fluid and begin to compress up against your pineal gland. A few last points. When you do this breath, you have to demonstrate a will that's greater than any program. You have to find a level of intensity or a level of passion that's greater than the body as the mind or any addiction to any emotion. You have to be inspired. Inspiration, the movement of energy. Next, it's important for you to keep practicing. Many people, they do it once or twice and they say, nothing happened, I'm going to give up. But my question is, how long have you been thinking and feeling in these loops, and what is it going to take to begin to disturb that energy? So you begin to shake it loose. And once it shakes loose, and that sympathetic nervous system switches on, it's a moving freight train. It's a moving locomotive. And that energy is very intense. For some people, their body will do unusual things. That's information trying to be integrated into it. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. If your body does weird things, more than likely that's energy moving to your brain. If you have a lapse of consciousness, or you all of a sudden find yourself on the ground, that's energy moving into your brain. It's happened to me numerous times. It's a sign that you're getting close, or at least doing it correctly. We use the breath many times before we start our disciplines. Why? Because once this energy starts to move, and a movement of that energy, once it reaches the brain, is going to create a positive charge in the head, a negative charge at the base of the spine, and once it reaches the brain, now you're going to have an invisible electromagnetic field surrounding your body. And now your body is a magnet, and now you've liberated that energy that's been stored in there. That creative energy is now liberated for you to begin to create a new life, to heal your body, to have a mystical experience, whatever your desire is. So be kind to yourself, practice it methodically and slowly. Keep practicing it, just like any skill, it'll get easier and easier. Good luck.